Do we blame the Fed? I know one man that might be, the President of the United States. I'm tweeting the following in the last 10 minutes. I think this is amazing. If the Fed backs off and starts talking a little more dovish, I think we're going to be right back to our 2,800, 2,900 target range that we've had for the S&P 500. It's not from the President. He's quoting Scott Wren of Wells Fargo. I love this. Quoting Southside Research in the executive branch.
Well, at least somebody's reading Southside.
Krishna Memani going in hard. Here we go. I can tell you that on the MVP list on the Bloomberg terminal, which was basically the individuals that get the most bio hits on a terminal, Scott Wren now tops the pile.
Oh, I'm sure he does. But honestly,
everyone have a look at Scott Wren. We all want Scott Wren's research now. Krishna, your thoughts on that? Blaming the Fed?
Well, so I think to some extent the Fed is responsible. At the end of the day, the driver for the market over the last year really has been policy tightening. And Fed is probably ahead of that relative to everybody else in the world, every other central bank. So I think Fed is definitely responsible. Whether it is responsible policy or not, that we can debate. I think some tightening was warranted. I think talking a good game where we are not going to stop at neutral and go beyond neutral and all of that nonsense, I think that's what's coming back to bite the market.
Well, let's talk about that nonsense. Is that a policy error?
Oh, absolutely. I think in a market that is still fragile, in a global economy that is still demand short, coming up with articulation where we are not going to stop at neutral rate and may go to 4 or 5% policy rates, I think that would be a policy mistake of gargantuan proportion.
But on top of that, Krishna, they're not even acknowledging where they think neutral really is. The chairman of the Federal Reserve in the last month, Jay Powell, effectively saying, not sure where it is, but I don't think we're anywhere near it.
Well, they never knew where neutral was. Neutral was an artifact that they created, and all of a sudden they started taking it down. So I think that the markers that they are putting out for the markets, they are taking down slowly, or at least that's what they were doing before the sell-off. So I think they are definitely a part of the reason why things are where they are.